Hey there, and welcome to Trotting Through Life, the feel-good journey through wellness reimagined. I'm your host, Alicia Trotter, holistic health coach, retreat leader, and lover of all things simple, soulful, and sustainable. Each week, I'm here to share mindset shifts, wellness hacks, and down-to-earth tips to help you feel better in your body, your mind, and your life without all the overwhelm. Because wellness doesn't have to be complicated. Hello, and welcome back to Trotting Through Life. I'm your host, Alicia Trotter, and today I'm very excited to have the Lymph Man on with us as our special guest. And the reason I'm so excited about this is because ever since my explant, I've been really curious about the lymph system and how we can get it to properly drain, to get toxins out of our body, and to keep us healthy. And there's so many things that are swirling around out there about it. And so I just wanted to bring John on and see if we could learn more from the expert. So, welcome.
I am glad to be here. I have a message that everybody needs to understand. Most people have a lymphatic system and they never even think about it until we get a diagnosis of a serious disease like cancer. And we really all need to start thinking about it much earlier. And then we can have a much more robust life and less disease and be able to overcome disease. Most people just aren't thinking about this network of vessels and nodes. And I'm glad you're interested in it, right? It's really
Yeah.
important. And my name is John Ossipinsky. I go by Lymph-Man because Ossipinsky is not that easy to say, but Lymph-Man, you can find me on social media on most platforms as Lymph-Man.
Okay, yeah, I'm really excited. I have a nursing background, so I know what the lymphatic system is, but I did not realize how they're all over the body and they're very delicate, but they have a very important job. And you're right, people don't often think anything about it until there's disease.
Right. And we need to change that. I mean, even your children, they're having big problems with anxiety in children. And why is that, right? In 2015, lymphatic vessels were actually found in the brain. Before that, they said if you have anxiety or depression, don't even think about the lymph system. Well, now we know there's a direct lymph-brain connection that we can actually gain control over. And most people don't even understand that. But a lot of science has come out in the last 15 years on how we can actually control this system. If you go on to YouTube and put in lymph flow, you'll be able to see that they can now do imaging of it. And you can see a finger moving lymph through the body. And unfortunately, our lymph flow is stagnant. It's not flowing very well. We have one little vessel on the right under your clavicle, a tiny little angel hair posture, I like to call it. It's tiny, and it has to handle the weights from thousands of lymph vessels and hundreds of lymph nodes. And what happens? We sit on a computer, we slouch a little bit, and we sort of crimp it. Most people are tight in their neck and shoulders, and that's because his waste is building around our muscles and tissues and bones, and we need to get it flowing. And there are simple ways that we'll talk about later that people can get it flowing. And someone like yourself who had implants removed, it's serious, right? Because most people with that are having health problems before, and that's why they're having their implants taken out. But a
Yeah.
lot of that is because the implants create a little inflammation putting them in, and that clogged the lymph system. And this is all my opinion, in the axillary node, and then right by the major lymph vessels. So then you aren't cleaning as well, and over the years, your whole body, not just your breasts, will start having little problems from just really your own dead cell material building in your body. We call it inflammation. And really, we know that diseases from the inflammation, but it's really what your lymph system is not cleaning up. So it's important for all of us to know that number one, we have a lymphatic system. We have to think about it more often, not be crazy about it and oh my God. No, just know that it has to flow, right? We have to deep breathe more. We have to stretch our body more. We have to maybe do a little exercise during the day. Exercise is key. But learning how to drain your lymphatic system is really powerful. It's something I do almost every night. It takes me about 5, 6 minutes, and I go to bed tingling. And we want our lymph flow cleaning at night because our brain does most of our cleaning at night. And most people are exhausted. I don't know about you. If they go to bed, they just lie in bed and we want to move a little bit before we go to bed. Move your shoulders like I'm going to show you. Take some deep breaths, do a little stretching for a minute or two, then lie down. And then your lymph system, this tiny network of vessels and nodes, that's like your blood vessels, but it's a one-way river. It just flows one way. It just starts in any part of your body and has to flow up to your neck. Sometimes it goes into a lymph node, sometimes it goes to a vein, but ultimately it has to end in one of those little vessels on your neck. And it can be blocked in many areas. It could be blocked in your hips and your abdomen and your chest, and then you'll start having little problems because your cells aren't really getting rid of their waste as efficiently as they can.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was been very curious about the lymph system since I had the explant, which was in March of 2023. And I learned that you have them behind your knee. And my right knee has recently been hurting lately. And I'm like, I wonder if there's something going on because I didn't do anything to injure it. It's just been hurting only on my right knee.
Yeah,
So,
but it could be, see, what we do is we tend to concentrate on the symptom. The knee
okay.
is a symptom, right?
Mhm.
But it could be that your hip, your inguinal nodes, right in the crease of your leg, we have inguinal nodes. Maybe they're congested, or maybe you sit a lot and they get blocked. Maybe your abdomen, the nodes and vessels there are very acidic and they can't allow flow efficiently up into your neck. So think of it as a river. So your knee has to flow up into your hip, your inguinal area, through your abdomen, through your chest, up to here. We don't think about that often, right? And when we start thinking about opening up the river of lymph, then you gain more control over your health. And that's what we want. We all want a little edge, right? If we can have that little edge over preventing disease or overcoming an illness or aging with our brains, right? Because a lot of
Right.
us are going to be losing our ability to think as we age. And I believe if we understand the lymph system, especially the lymph-brain connection, my specialty is the brain. Even though I was a certified lymphedema therapist to work with swelling, I had already been working with the brain. So I brought the brain into it, and I work a lot with autism, people who have anxiety, depression. It's really everything. Every health problem, I believe, from a ingrown toenail to cancer, really is how we have to see is that when the body can't clean itself, it becomes acidic, full of inflammation, it constricts a little bit, and really that's what creates an ingrown toenail. It creates IBS. I had IBS for 30 years. 30
Yeah.
years. And it went away a few weeks after learning to maintain my lymphatic system. When I finally realized I can't just maintain my clients, I can't just get massages. I can't just get lymph drainage therapy. I have to actually change my diet. I have to take a few basic supplements like magnesium, some enzymes. And I ate vegetables for 30 days and drained myself every day. And within 3 weeks, I felt my brain pop. So I was pretty sick. My brain was shrinking. I was only 49. So I'm 68 right now, right? And I want to be, 115. That's my new goal, but healthfully. A lot of people are aging nowadays and we're not aging well, right? We're kept
Right.
alive, but we're not living a good life.
Yeah, I agree with that. I always say if you don't know how long you're going to live, because we don't, right? And say you're going to live to be 100, but you start getting sick at 65, that's a long time to live and not feel good and have a poor quality of life. So that's one thing I love is just finding out all the different things we can do to improve our health and to feel good for the long haul so that if you do live to be 115 years old, you're feeling good up till the end.
Right. That's it. And it takes us doing something, not just going to work. People think I'm against doctors. I'm not. I believe if I have a heart attack, I break a leg, I have something going on, I'm running to a doctor, right? I want to find out what's going on with me. Unfortunately, if you want to keep healthy, that's not their realm, right? They're there to help you not die, basically. And they do a
Exactly.
great, great job of that. But we need to learn how to cultivate ourselves. We're a cellular being, and we don't think about that. Your cells are alive inside. And when they're in an environment, when your lymphatic system can't clean around those cells become sick. They can't get proper nutrition. They can't get oxygen. The mitochondria of the cell, which is the powerhouse, can't clean the cell, can't help the body have energy. The cells have energy. So the different structures that clean the cell can't function. And that's really the basis of disease. We don't think about that. We just think about, oh, I have heart disease. Oh, I have IBS. Oh, I have. No, the cells in those areas are having problems, and we need to change the cellular environment. And that's really what I concentrate on in my programs and my coaching of people. It's not just about drainage, because you can drain yourself all day long, it'll help. But most people just go see a doctor, they take some pills, they do some different things, IVs, and they feel good for a while. And then their first little stress or the first little thing knocks them out again. It's because they didn't go deep enough. We have to go deep enough into our body, into our cells to make real change in our cells. And we do that with the lymphatic system, nutrition, and really just the understanding that we have this system that cleans us and we need to gain control over it.
Yeah. So take us through, as a lymphatic coach, what does your, how does, without giving too much away, without somebody was curious, what would you tell them as to why they would want to coach with you?
Basically, 20 years ago, I wrote a book on how disease begins with lymphatic dysfunction. It's called An Undetected Acid Alkaline Imbalance. I met this doctor who was a writer in the 90s. He was a naturopath, and he said back in the 70s, we were studying food, and we realized that we have to be alkaline in our bodies, and you got to get to 7.2 in your saliva. That was his big thing. And then he said the government declared war on cancer, and he said every food research just dried up. Everything went to drugs, right? So think of what would have happened if we would have gone the opposite way. If we would have learned that, like what they were learning, that food is really what we have to use, and then use some supplements. But the thing is, when people become very congested from their lymphatic system, the fluid can become like glue. And if you can imagine glue trying to move through your body, it doesn't move very well. And that's why we need to learn how to do things like, we can talk about when we're getting close to the end. I will talk about a few things that people can do to open up their lymphatic system, and we'll feel it, right? We'll actually
Yeah.
feel a difference in our body. But it's more of what everybody can do. It's great to go see a therapist. I think that's terrific. There are a lot of great therapists out there, but it's more of what you can do every day. And the few things that I'm going to teach you are going to be key.
Yeah. And I agree with you so much when you were saying it's not that we're anti-doctor. I'm not anti-doctor either, but so much of our health, whether it's declining or whether we're turning it around, goes back to the nutrition and our food. And that's not something that doctors learn in school. They learn how to keep us alive in emergency situations. And I'm thankful for that. But we need to know, as individual beings, what can we do every day? What can we teach our children? And what can we change going forward once we learn these things to keep ourselves as healthy as possible?
Right. And we need to keep flowing. That's the biggest thing. You
Yep.
talk about children. I've always told people, hey, when your kids become five, start teaching. Because I dealt a lot with the autism in the late 90s. It was very big when I was doing lymph drainage and craniosacral therapy. And my thing is to teach people not to have problems like that, right? How to have healthier pregnancies, how to have healthier children. And so now when you have a child who's five, start teaching them about the lymph system. But I'm changing that because I now have a granddaughter who's 14 months old. And
Oh.
I do this in front of her, the lymph man shoulder shuffle, and
Uh-huh.
she laughs at me. She gets all hysterical. I've been doing it a little while, and now she sort of tries it. She goes,
So she's,
so at 14 months old, she's starting to move her body, and they can't. They're so tight. It's hard for them, right? So this is something we need to teach our children, but we all need to understand movement is key.
yeah.
Diet, I never ate good food. I love pasta, Chinese food, white rice and meat, and no vegetables. I didn't want the vegetables. And I ate bread. And that's why I had so many health problems. I had IBS for 30 years. I had heart palpitations, which is starting. If you're getting heart palpitations, that means you're getting pretty toxic in your body. Restless leg syndrome. I was 70 pounds overweight. My hands would cramp, actually cramped, right? And I would drop things all the time. My back would twist. I mean, it's from tight muscles. And that's your central nervous system. So I was basically really having major problems. And then I realized I have to take care of myself. I can't depend on other people to do it. And I just went crazy. And I said, honey, can you please cook roasted vegetables for a month? And I ate roasted vegetables for a month. Now I would eat more raw food a few days a week, right? But it's really getting away from the white flour. And I eat those things now. I eat a pretty normal diet. But when we're ill and we want to get better, we have to take, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to take about a month. And that's what a lot of my courses are, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, because I believe people need that. And it makes a difference, right? We learn how to maintain ourselves because we haven't been taught this. We haven't been taught to maintain your lymphatic system, even when have cancer treatment. And people who have cancer treatment, I have a lot of people with fourth stage cancer, right? I never thought about cure. I just say, hey, listen, it's about quality of life. And many of them say, John, I walk into my doctor's office, everybody's pain, not feeling well. I walk in feeling good because we're reducing acidity that's coming from the cancer and the cancer treatment, right?
Yeah.
Doctors will give you pain pills and sleeping pills and this and that. But if you reduce that inflammation in your body and you keep up with it, and it doesn't take much, you do better in life and in treatment for most diseases that we have, even things like cancer.
Yeah, because diseases love an inflamed body. That's the perfect house for them. And so getting that inflammation down, keeping it down, like you said, through alkaline diet, movement, sleep is so important. That's how our cells turn over. All of those things is so key. That's how I coach too in my coaching business is that's one of the first things I do with people is I look at their food. I'm like, "Can you journal for me for 1 week and please don't try to be perfect. I really need to know what it is you're eating so that we can just talk about it and make some changes."
Yeah, you feel so different when you eat differently, right? I mean, I'll go on vacation, I'll get toxic, because I want to enjoy myself. And then when I come home, I start cleaning up. And as soon as I start eating a little better, you feel less bloated, you have more energy within a day or two of just eating a little cleaner. And trust me, I don't eat vegetables all the time. I eat meat, I eat chicken. I eat more chicken, turkey, and fish than beef. I'll have beef maybe once every few weeks, maybe, not that often. But I eat a lot more vegetables than I've ever eaten in my life. So you got to find what you like. I add a little magnesium. I just did a podcast. I have a podcast, the Lymph-Brain Revolution podcast, and I just did a whole thing on magnesium for energy in your brain. We don't think about it, right? But most people need magnesium. It makes 300 chemical reactions work better. When we don't have magnesium, our body becomes a little acidic, and that constricts your cells, and then your cells can't function. So when we have magnesium in us, it doesn't actually give you energy, but it creates an environment where your cells can make energy for you. It's actually something called MAG ATP. ATP is inosine triphosphate, I believe, and that's how we make energy. We need oxygen and we need magnesium. So if you're deficient in magnesium, and so many people tell me, I'm so tired, I just have no energy, it's because we're lacking that magnesium. We need that in our body.
Yeah, pretty sure over 90% of Americans are deficient in magnesium for
Yeah, well,
sure.
we can get it from our diet, but you got a lot of fruits and vegetables. So
Oh,
it's better off to just supplement. I like magnesium, the glycinate, because it has glycine in it, and glycine has been shown to help a lot of the aging problems. Again, you're not getting a ton of it in magnesium, the glycinate, but they are combining two supplements that can work together to make a benefit in the body.
yeah, I take that. So I like it
Good.
too. Yeah, I have alpha gal syndrome. I don't know if you knew that or not, but so speaking of eating lots of fruits and vegetables and chicken and fish, that's pretty much my entire diet. So I did notice once I got alpha gal and I had to cut out mammalian products like dairy and the red meats that I didn't realize I had inflammation in my body, but I did because when I changed how I ate, it really did. When I lost like 10 pounds, and I was like, I think I must have had some inflammation going on in my body. So,
Yeah, think about it. Most people that go to the doctor for health problems, no matter what it is, and they just are given drugs. Some good doctors will say, hey, you should change your diet, do some exercise. I'm seeing a lot of the 80-year-olds starting to do exercise now at the gym. The doctor's probably telling them, hey, you're sick, you need to go. But it's really something that it's simple, right? Just eat differently. And vegetables, some days you just have a salad, have a big salad for your dinner. Sometimes you have some chicken. Some days just have the salad. But I believe having a salad before each meal, like a lunch and a dinner, is a great way to start your meal, right? To have a little bit of
yeah,
salad before.
yeah. And I like salads. We have a good, where I live here in Middle Tennessee, we have local farmers and farmers markets. And
Nice.
with everybody being so afraid of the lettuce and the parasite right now, I have a local farmer that they only grow lettuce and they grow it in these tunnels, like a greenhouse tunnel type of thing. It's the best lettuce you'll ever eat. And it's so fresh. They pick it on Thursday evening and I pick it up on Saturday and it will stay fresh forever.
That's great.
It's so good. But yeah, just even trying to get, good local sources of your fruits and veggies is also really good too. In season too, when you eat fruits and veggies in season, they taste better, I think.
Yeah, they do. I love to grow vegetable all the time. But here, I live in Arizona, so we're just getting out of our 114, 115-degree weather. So that kills the garden. So now we get ready to start a new one in a few weeks. But yeah, it's only 103 today. That's not bad, believe it or not. That's livable.
Yeah, at least out in the desert, I don't think you'll have quite the humidity that we have here.
No, we don't. That's what's nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
we have
we're
very
gonna
low
have
humidity.
101
Oh.
on Sunday, but with the heat index, we'll be at like 114. It's
Yeah,
just
I'm an ex-New Yorker, so I know humidity. It's uncomfortable. And that's one thing nice about here. You don't feel it, but it's like having a blow dryer blowing in your face, you know? And
hmm
we all need to think about hydration, right? No matter where we're living, we need to hydrate because when your lymphatic system becomes slightly dehydrated, it can't clean us as well, right? We
Right.
need to be hydrated. That's another important thing. And posture, I want to let's start with a few things that people can do, all right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
posture is number one. If you've been sitting over your computer, just sit up a little straighter. You should actually feel a little difference in your body, right? Almost like flow. And think about it, if you're sitting in front of your computer all day long, and most of us do that, that we're just limiting circulation. We're not flowing. So we need to move, straighten up, put signs by your computer, take a few deep breaths. So after posture, just head back, shoulders up, chest out. I mean, that feels better. I can feel flow through my body. Most people don't sit like that. Most people just slouch all the time. And that limits how they flow. Next thing is the lymph man shoulder shuffle. Now you'll see a lot of people online showing you how to drain and all that, and I do teach that. I teach every part of the body, the mouth, the eyes, the breath, everything. But to me, we need to be able to do something quickly to open up our lymphatic system because it doesn't have a heart and it has to be motivated. Every time we move, every time we breathe, every time we stretch, we're moving it. And if we don't do that often, then we become stagnant. So we just I put my hands on my lap, I do one shoulder straight up and the other one goes down, and then we reverse it. And you do that just up and down, straight up and down, not rotation, just straight up and down. Now, if you have neck pain or shoulder pain, do it lightly, right? Really
hmm
easy because your shoulders may have some tightness. But if you don't have any pain, really whip it. Really whip it. Don't be afraid, right? I could breathe easier. If you're about to have a panic attack, do that, right? And then
Oh
wait
yeah.
5 minutes, do it again. Go get a glass of water, then wait 5 minutes, do it again. And but because what happens when we're having a panic attack or some type of anxiety attack, or you're feeling very depressed or a lot of brain fog, your body's shutting down basically. Your lymph flow is not cleaning your brain or your lungs. And when we have an anxiety attack, it's not just one area. It's not just your brain. It's affecting your skin, your digestion, your lungs. And that's because the lymphatic system is not functioning optimally. So if we can do the lymph man shoulder shuffle a
hmm
few times over a few minutes, I mean, my legs are tingling. Did you feel any tingling in your body?
Yeah, I had my arms hanging down and I was like,
Yeah, because we're opening up the major lymph vessel. So it's nice to drain your body, but you never really feel when you do my lymph man shoulder shuffle, you feel it. And that's powerful. So we need to do that 2 or 3 times a day. And the next thing is the deep breathing. You need to take a deep breath in and blow it out hard. When you blow it out hard, it makes a wave through your body. And most people are shallow breathers, so we're not moving our
hmm
lymph flow efficiently enough. So sit twice a day, do the lymph man shoulder shuffle, correct your posture, and take 10 deep breaths. Do it in the morning when you wake up, sit on the side of your bed, and then you'll be looser throughout your day because at night we're cleaning, we get a little tighter, and then we have coffee, some people, or a toast, and that sort of stops detoxification. So wake up, have some fruit, have some fresh juice, or just have a big glass of water and move your shoulders, take some deep breaths. And then before you go to bed, do the same exact thing. Move your shoulders, the lymph man shoulder shuffle, take some deep breaths and maybe stretch your shoulders a little bit. And you'll go to bed and your body be able to clean for a little longer than if you just lied in bed. So it's just these simple things that we have to understand. And if we don't understand the lymph system, then we're missing a big part of really how we keep well. We're just guessing. And I did that for many years. I took supplements. I didn't change my diet. I didn't exercise. And again, now we have to incorporate. It's not about being at the gym for an hour, but we have to do some exercise almost every day because our blood that's why so many people are on blood thinners. Their blood is filling with cellular waste. And they put them on a blood thinner to just make it more slippery, but it's not getting rid of it. And there are better ways to do that exercise, enzymes. And a lot of our foods, when we eat vegetables, when we eat them raw, eat some fermented kimchi or sauerkraut. I love it from Trader Joe's. It's great.
Yeah.
That gives you probiotics. So
Yeah.
that's going to help break down waste in your body. So I take a forkful of that once a day or twice a day. And these simple things can really make your life better. So posture, deep breathing, lymph man shoulder shuffle. Those are really things that, I mean, my body is still, I could feel more flow in it. And we have to
Mhm.
realize that this isn't just something I thought of. In 2023, NIH reported in the emerging importance of lymphatics in health and disease, an NIH workshop report, they found changes in normal lymphatic function can alter multiple systems in the body and manifest as different and varied pathologies, which are your diseases. And there are many conditions related to lymphatic dysfunction within all body systems. And to me, that means disease begins with lymphatic dysfunction, right? And if you go to the article, it lists all these diseases, your immune diseases, musculoskeletal, psoriasis, fibromyalgia, everything it lists, right? Even cancers. So we have to start thinking differently because
Yeah.
people are not thinking about the lymphatic system. We're only thinking about it when we got cancer, but then we're not really maintaining it. We're just killing it or damaging the cells, and we're just going to clog it up and make it not work even more. So we're in every stage of life, we have to learn to maintain this system, and then we gain more control.
Yeah. So is it true, because this happened to me when we were doing our shoulder shuffle, that you can tell your lymph system is starting to drain if you have to swallow more? I felt like I had to swallow more when we were doing that.
Yeah, I've had many people who I teach how to do this, and they'll say, John, that night my throat got, they had problems with the throat. My throat got a little tight, and then the next day I felt it actually open up and things were flowing. Because when our tissues they become acidic, the lymph vessels constrict, the blood vessels constrict, and they really can't clean as well. So they get tighter and tighter and tighter, and that's why people can have a chronic sore throat or a tight neck for years. And just by opening up the lymph flow, by doing the lymph man shoulder shuffle and doing a few different techniques, but you have to do it a few times a day, we just start flowing. It's amazing, especially for sinus problems. And if somebody has sinus problems, we don't want to have sinus problems because they found lymphatics right behind your nose called the nasopharyngeal lymphatics. They say it doesn't only just drain your nose, it drains your brain. So if you have sinus problems, you're not draining your brain as well. I mean, that's crazy. And how many people, I worked with a lot of people with sinus problems. And it's something, the tissues of the sinuses become very acidic. They can't allow lymph flow. And then they just keep on getting more and more inflamed. People get surgeries, they get burnt out. And we just need to create flow in there and change our environment with our diet and supplements. And then our life changes.
Yeah, I do not have sinus problems, but husband has chronic sinus problems. So I'm going to teach him the lymph man shoulder shuffle and get
Yeah.
him started on a routine morning and night because he definitely suffers when he gets that.
Yeah, I just had
Right
a
up.
client who called me. We worked with her. She says, "Oh, I've been on the antibiotics for 2 weeks. My whole face swelled up." I said, "Why didn't you call me sooner?" She goes, "Oh, I didn't think of it." And I worked on her, and she said, "It's gone already. Her swelling is gone." We just get congested, right?
Mhm.
We're having a problem, then we get put on antibiotics, and antibiotics tend to make more waste, and that congests your lymph system. So we have to give it some love. We have to give it some attention, and then we are able to control our recovery from things.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick. What are your thoughts? Because these are popular tools that you hear about. What are your thoughts about the little rebounder, trampolines, and vibration plates?
I would get a rebounder than a vibration plate. I like them both, right?
Okay.
But I have a rebounder. I've had it for 15 years. I love it. You don't have to get on for an hour. You can get on for a few minutes, 15 minutes, and you feel it the next day. You feel waste because on a rebounder, you're moving waste up and then the valves in the lymph vessels shut down. So it keeps it up, keeps it moving. And that's why you feel that detox reaction until you get
Right.
it under control. But with a vibrator, I'll stand at one at the gym. I've always used one in my office with clients, and I have one at home for myself. It's called a Genie Rub, and it's been around since 1968. It's a handheld one, but it's dynamic, and people love it. Anytime I work on them, they go, "Oh, I want one of those. How do I get it?" And they go out and they buy it. But vibration, when you use an individual piece, you can put that on your head. You can use that on your back, on the side of your breast, by your mammary nodes. You can use it anywhere in your body, but you can't use a thumping type of a massager. The one that goes like that, you can only use
Mhm.
those on your muscles, right? They're very
Right, right.
uncomfortable in other parts. So a vibratory vibrator is to me, I put it by my clavicles, I put it by my underarms when I have problems. You're opening up the cells and it really does work. Then take a few deep breaths. You just can't vibrate or rebound. You want to make sure you're breathing. Anytime you do any exercise, do the lymph man shoulder shuffle first to get your system flowing, and then you'll be fine during your workout. But it's just my goal is to get people to understand this. It's just it's a simple system. Don't get overwhelmed. It's a tiny network. It's like a plumbing system. Has one drain on either side of your neck, and we need to help it. And that's why we do the lymph man shoulder shuffle. And if they go to Instagram, I go on Instagram daily, and I give about 5 days a week, and I just say, hey, this is a new science on cancer or this or that, and it's like 60 seconds, not even. And then I say, hey, don't forget, let's do the lymph man shoulder shuffle. So I sort of remind, it may be repetitive, but I want people to know that I just did that 3 times. My legs are tingling, it's
Yeah,
powerful. So people have to be reminded to do that. And then I show some other things too.
that's perfect. I'm gonna go follow you on Instagram right now. Are you at Lymphman? Is that your handle?
Yeah, I'm Lymphman on Instagram. Yes, Lymphman on Instagram, on X also, on Facebook. I don't go to LinkedIn too much. I have to start doing that.
Same.
I have to get there.
Okay, I found you. Yeah,
And
that's
then go to my website too, healthylymphsystem.com, healthylymphsystem.com, and learn more about me. But I make change. People, when COVID was around, I dealt with so many people with COVID and just coaching them. Within a couple of weeks, their COVID was gone, something that the long COVID, that they struggled with sometimes for a year or two. And it's just our lymph system becomes overwhelmed from a cytokine storm. I can go on and on about this, but I don't want to go on. But a cytokine storm is your immune system, and it just gets ramped up so much that it just keeps on making inflammation, and that overwhelms
yeah.
your lymphatic system. So that's not just COVID. It's if you have a common cold, a child with a common cold all the time, they're filling with cellular waste. We need to clean them up. If you have the flu, I've had the flu few times. No one told me, hey, clean up afterwards. So we need to get waste out of our body whenever we get any type of a virus, bacteria, anything like that. And we do it with the lymphatic system.
Yeah, I love that. This has been very informative. I followed you on Instagram. So if y'all are curious about learning more, I will put in the show notes his website and his social handles and how you can get in touch with him for more. But if you found this episode interesting, be sure to follow, like, save, subscribe, all the things, and share it with anyone that you think could benefit from hearing this same story, which I think would be every person out there because we all have a lymphatic system and we all need to learn how to properly keep it flowing for our overall de- decreasing inflammation, getting the waste out, and keeping our bodies overall
Yeah,
healthy.
and building up our immune system too. Your lymph system
Hmm.
moves around your lymphatic system. I thank you for having me. It was a great talk, a great conversation, and I hope it helped many of your listeners.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And until next time. Thanks so much for trotting along with me today. If you loved this episode, be sure to follow the show and leave a quick rating or review. It helps more people find their way to simple, feel good wellness. I'll see you next Tuesday for another episode of Trotting Through Life. Until then, take a breath, take a step, and keep it uncomplicated.